we're open for questions. I should say Jonathan is open for questions. Do we have any?
Hi. I was just wondering for the Q building, how did you manage the change of occupancy from office to residential, and what were the different steps in time, maybe loss in finances and so forth? Thank you.
Well, there was absolutely no loss in time because we don't want that to happen. The corridors changed. The building was all about daylight. There's actually daylight on 4 sides, even though it's on the property line. The fins on the north side bring daylight in. Obviously, if I would have designed that as a residential building, it would have balconies, which it doesn't have everywhere. Some of the units turned out fabulous, and you thought they were going to be not so good. And some of them turned out pretty good, and you thought they were going to be fabulous. So it's really interesting because now we're cataloging all of our buildings and all of the units and the sizes and the square footages and the proportions. And we're starting to understand what has made a good unit and what's not made a good unit. But it was tough. It was very difficult. We had a couple units in the back that we had to make offices because they didn't have proper exiting out of them. We had all kinds of window situations. It was a very difficult situation. But I think, you know, based on what we did, we came out whole.
Question?
Yes, earlier in the program you talked about the process of architecture. You came to San Diego and you set about to learn the process of architecture, and you've been defining the process of architecture through your career. Now, if you decided you were going to continue your career rather than cash it in this week, or maybe give advice to your son 10 years from now, what do you see the process of architecture looking like that might be different than we're doing it today? What would you want it to be, or where would you see it going to be leading the profession in a new direction?
Well, I think something that Sebastian, who worked with me, had, because I think he's 5 years younger than me, he could run the computer, and I can't draw. Very frustrating for me. The process of architecture has changed significantly because you can make so many changes so quickly. When I went to Matthew's thesis, he just graduated from SC, I saw a lot of buildings that were amorphic and blobs. And unfortunately, I haven't seen too many 2x4s that are curved. So I'm not sure that the process of that kind of architecture is, and I hate this word sustainable, but I use it. We have to make housing affordable for people. We have to make urban living correct for people. The process of architecture is going to be coming back to the cities. It's not going to be doing the extension of suburban health, which you're going to find, you know, gas and fuel is going to run out. The price is going to go up. People are going to change their lifestyles. London, they do it. Not everybody has a car in London. When you have a nice car, I was seeing Maseratis, Ferraris, Rolls Royces, Bentleys parked on the street in London. That blew my mind. I mean, my cars go inside quick. And it's just a different mindset. And I think our mindset has to change and our ideas about housing have to change. I'm not sure what they are, but I'm very interested in how that moves forward.
Question? Way over here? Oh, sorry.
How you doing? This isn't really a question. It's more of a thank you, I guess. I'm first year at New School, and you said that the architects that you looked up to and you admired. I'm originally from Northern California, up in the mountains, up in the sticks. The draftsman was the closest thing to an architect that I knew. Coming to San Diego, searching architects on Google, seeing your name come up, seeing the union come up under images, was an inspiration to me. I researched you. I've looked at all of your work. I did a project for an interior design class on the union. I was kind of staking it out, taking pictures, waiting for somebody to open the garage. I slipped in the back. Mm-hmm. They got out of the car, looked at me, and I'm like, hi, can I ask you some questions? And he looked at me like, why are you in the garage? Who are you? Where'd you come from? And it was weird, but that's what I needed to do to just, you know, kind of get my foot in the door. You had a dream coming to California. My dad just recently gave me a book about creating your own dream. What is everybody's dream? You create your own. Your dream is influencing my dream.
I'm happy to hear that. Thank you.
Just starting out, and like you said, you don't want to say sustainability, but you said in 50 years, most of us won't be here. Pray to God I am. Your buildings will still be here, and they're still going to be influencing me in my dream in design, in career, in life, whatever tomorrow brings. So
Thank you.
thank you.
There was a question over here.
There's a gentleman in the middle.
Wait 1 second, please.
Well, I'm from New School too, kind of like him. Thanks again for being here tonight. Like when you choose to build at a location, how do you know people want to live there?
How do I know people want to live there?
Yeah.
They don't. I get all the horrible properties and create something of nothing. And that's actually something we've always done, which isn't the best strategy, but just is one. And, you know, what do they say? Build it and they'll come.
Wait, is there any kind of secret to that?
Just you know, it's funny. Everybody wants to know where that secret elixir bottle is. And it just doesn't exist. I mean, it's just you creating something out of nothing and putting your stamp on it. What I do is stressful and difficult, but everybody can do it. There's no magic to it. I mean, if you talk to anybody that's in the school, it's general math. It's just understanding the process, understanding keeping under the radar, understanding it's $40,000 to go through the process with the community versus not. Timing, how do you do it? Putting together stuff, protecting yourself. I wrote a book for that I give at my seminars that explains that with all the contracts and everything. So it's just stuff I've stumbled upon and ask a bunch of dumb questions. And you know, you can never really ask a dumb question. People think you may be stupid, but at the end of the day, when you know more, you're not that stupid. Thank you.
Wise words.
How do you, just to interrupt with a question of my own, you've obviously made some mistakes, right? I mean,
Incredible amounts of mistakes
Because this question,
on a daily basis.
yeah, this question talks about being accepting of making a mistake here and there.
Yeah. I mean, we have this project that was basically 2 buildings, 2 lots. That was one project. And then we got in the building department, and you know, planning department said it's all good. And as soon as you get there, you go, oh no, it's got to be 2 different projects. Property lines, so we got to change all the buildings. We have construction drawings done. So we're going through that. And you know, I can't see doing that for a client. I mean, we'd be sued out of town. It's just not the process. Everybody has their own comfort level. And some people, Ken Ronchetti could never do what I do because he's architect of the stars, and he does these big grandiose things. And his personality is all about nurturing the client. Mine's not. I couldn't do what he does. But there are people that can do both. So everybody's got to find their niche, what it is. And just do the best you can and be just as honest with yourself as what you're doing.
Question?
Jonathan, good evening. Had the pleasure of seeing some of your beautiful collection of cars,
Oh, thank you.
focused on exotic Italians. I'd like to know to what extent, if any, has the great design of automobiles impacted your architectural vision?
It hasn't been. I think the 63 Corvette I have is probably the most influential. The parts on that, the proportions on that. Everything is a study. I mean, if I look at Donald Judd's work, who's an artist, that's a sculptor, or Diebenkorn, that's a painting artist, and I look at Pininfarina that designs a car, you learn from everything. You learn about color. You look at a car, when white on a car looks fabulous on this one, and white looks horrible on that one. So at least you start to understand that all these things actually interact. Why does white look good on here and not on here? Well, why does white look good on the top of your building versus the bottom of your building? And if you start to understand all the influences all these other artists have, it'll basically make your art better, being the buildings. So the big influence.